It's not true.
Right, I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. Fair question, I'll give you an answer. So, for instance, the Quran says Christ was not crucified. You know that?
Yeah.
It says it was made to appear that way.
Mm-hmm.
Right, we both know that. So that's
For you, he was crucified. I'm asking a question.
Everybody says that Christ was crucified, not just Christians.
Okay.
Romans said Christ was crucified. The Jews said Christ was crucified. The Christians said Christ was crucified. Every historian that ever looks into this, including Muslims, like Ravi, what's his name? Ravi Islam. I've forgotten his name. It'll come to me. I can look it up. When you look into the history, when we look into any history, when there's a dispute or any claim about what's happened, you look for witnesses, don't you? Right? So we've got New Testament saying Christ was crucified. We've got non-Christian sources like Jewish and Roman sources saying Christ was crucified. And these people were not the friends of Christians. So when your enemies are agreeing with you that something happened, it's fair to say that something happened. Agreed?
Sure.
Right. So if the Quran, 700 years later, in a completely different land, a completely different language, by someone who never witnessed any of the events, contradicts what's established history, reason tells you that you should reject what the Quran says. Do you understand my logic?
Yes.
Right. Do you want to reply to that, or shall I go on? Shall I give other examples? Okay, another example. So the Quran has internal contradictions. So where one verse contradicts another verse.
Okay, let me translate this to him because he was asking what you were saying.
Okay.
عم بيقول إنه بالقرآن عم بيقولوا الله بيقول في اثنين سورة إنه مش واحد عم بيcontradict الثاني.
يعني وحدة ما تفهم.
Exactly.
Okay.
Sorry? Let me finish my conversation with these ladies and then I'll come and talk to you.
With all due respect, we just wanted to listen.
I'll tell you what. Let me give you a gift because you've been so charitable and so kind in listening to me. I'll give you a gift and then I'll go talk to this guy. Yeah?
No, I'm thank you.
لا أكبر. قل لي إذا هي وحدة ما تشبه الثانية. يقول لي أنت معتقد الإنجيل محرف.
We're not doing.
هلا قل لي الإنجيل.
There you go. That's for you.
عم بيقول إنه هو.
Okay.
Give me a gift, brother.
You can't. Let me see if I got something. Wait. I've got. I might got something in Arabic. There you go. There you go. Something in Arabic. Right. What was your point? Sorry.
I mean, you claim that there's contradiction.
In the Quran, yes.
Yeah, from where did it
Are you a Muslim? Okay. So I'll give you an example of a contradiction in the Quran. But actually, are you a Sunni Muslim? Yeah. I'd like to talk to you about something else, if I may. I'd like to talk to you about something else, if I may.
What is it?
Yeah. So I'd like to talk to you about a hadith.
Okay.
Okay, let me just find it. Bear with us 1 second. Right. So I'd like to talk to you about this hadith. I'll read it to you and then we talk about it. Okay. Right. In Sahih al-Bukhari 3326 says this. The Prophet said, Allah created Adam making him 60 cubits tall, which is about 90 feet in our measurements. When he created him, he said to him, go and greet that group of angels and listen to their reply, for it will be your greeting. And the greeting, the salutation of your offspring. So Adam said to the angels, Assalamu alaikum. And the angels said, Assalamu alaka wa rahmatullahi. I'm sorry, I'm not an Arabic speaker. Thus the angels added to Adam's salutation the expression wa rahmatullahi. Hopefully I did better that time. Any person who will enter paradise will resemble Adam in appearance and figure. And people have been decreasing in stature since Adam's creation.
Sorry.
This is for you.
No, this is not in Arabic.
Oh, is it not? What language is it?
This is Persian.
Ah, my apologies. I thought you were Persian.
No, I'm not Persian.
My apologies.
No worries.
No, next time. I'll try to get something Arabic. I'm sorry, I'm just having a conversation.
I want to tell you.
No, I'm sorry, no, I'm having a conversation. I apologize, I'm sorry, I'm having... Right,
No worries.
so here's the problem.
Okay. Can I please tell me where is it?
This is in Sahih al-Bukhari 3326. Do you believe that Muhammad can say things that are wrong, and when he's saying that things Allah has told him?
Exactly. Again.
Can Allah be wrong can Muhammad be wrong when he's speaking about Allah?
Nope.
Right. So when he says that Allah created Adam 90 feet tall and people have been decreasing since that time, does that match with the fossil record?
Okay. Just 1 second, because I need to read that one.
Yeah.
Because I'm not. To be
No,
honest,
that's fine.
I'm not an expert in hadith.
That's okay, that's okay. Sahih al-Bukhari 3326.
3326.
I've got it right here, bro, if you want to read it.
Is it in Arabic?
Yeah, if you want the Arabic, there you go. There's the Arabic.
Okay. Okay, what's your question? What?
So my question is, does the fossil record show that people have been getting shorter over time or taller over time?
I have no idea.
I do.
But if you would ask anyone, like for example, a Muslim, at least I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. When we talk about a hadith or when God like explains something, or okay, we don't take like not all the time. We take how can I say it? Like exactly how it is. For example, we say in other times that the days of God isn't the same as the days of us. Here's another thing. The third thing, when we talk about the fossil record, okay, we don't know exactly when did it start or where are we going. So I'm talking here to say what I believe. This is absolutely true. Where the fossil record is still developing, you can't claim that if it's like increasing or decreasing. Yeah, it means there is a change in a certain time. Okay. But I can't like put that into that.
So a couple of replies. Firstly, the hadith that we're talking about is Muhammad describing what Allah has done and how he created mankind, and saying that men in the past were 90 feet tall.
Yeah, could be.
Right? Now, when we look at the fossil record of humanity, the earliest examples of humans that we can find have always been shorter than we are now. And as you go through the fossil record, there's evidence that people have been increasing in height. Okay? But the Quran, the hadith puts into Muhammad's lips a falsity, a factual error, which states that from the time of Adam, people have been decreasing in stature. Hold on 1 second. Because yes, we might not have a fossil record that goes back to the first human being. We don't. We might not. We're not. 1 second. Let me finish. We might not have the fossil record that goes all the way back to the first human, but we do have a substantial fossil record that goes back over 2,000 years, nearly 10,000 years. And that fossil record shows that people have not been decreasing in stature, as the hadith says, but have been increasing in stature. So we only need to measure some of the fossil record to know that this hadith is wrong. We don't need to. Yes, it is. Explain how my premises are false. Go on.
Here's the thing. Let him give an example, okay?
Using this hadith, please stick to this hadith.
I'm talking to you about the logic you are saying. Because if we say that if we have like a point that we can go back, okay, and from that point, if we are decreasing, that means that we are decreasing infinitely. This is like a fallacious argument, because I can be, for example, at a certain time I'm gaining money, okay, and I'm being richer. Then I start to lose money, okay, so I'm being poorer. When I start like at the point that I'm losing money, if you go back, that means I'm losing money from that point that doesn't mean I've been losing all the time. This is a fallacious argument.
Right, let me reply, because the fact of the matter is, it does not say in this hadith that people have been going up and going
of
down.
course, it does say.
It says that they have been decreasing from the time of Muhammad, bearing in mind, I didn't interrupt you, bearing in mind that Adam is 90 feet tall. Now we have discovered prehistoric human beings, prehistoric human fossils going back 10,000 years, right? And they are tiny people. Right? If you go, and I suggest you do this just for your own cultural enrichment. I suggest you do this. If you go to Pompeii, right, you literally see people covered in ash, in volcano ash, and they're up to there on you, bro. They're like, it's funny when you think about it. You imagine Roman soldiers and you think they're really tough. Your average Roman soldier would have been up to your elbow. Right? Just imagine that for a second. It's quite a funny thing to think about, right? The point is that so we don't need the entire fossil record. All we need is a substantial amount, and we have a 10,000 year sample, and that 10,000 year sample goes up, not down. And the hadith is saying that from Adam to now, the time of Muhammad, people have been shrinking, not growing, which means, and this is the important point, it means that Muhammad was wrong in his own time.
Okay, let me ask just a question, because the scientific fact that you are implying,
which is a fact.
I don't know about them. Okay, I'm not saying they're wrong. I just don't know about them.
Yeah.
If I'm increasing with money, okay, if I'm gaining money, losing money, gaining money, losing money, but in the whole time,
no, please, let's just have our conversation.
The whole time I'm losing, that means I'm decreasing.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to listen to him.
Okay?
Go on.
So, for example, going back to the money, like for example, to the money example, if I have money, okay, and I'm gaining some, losing some, gaining some, losing some, and after a period of time, okay, my unit is losing, that means I've been losing. That doesn't mean that I have to lose all the time, okay, to imply that from the start to the end that I've been losing.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
I do get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying. But the problem with your argument is it assumes the factuality of 90-foot human beings, right?
At the beginning.
Tall as trees, right? And there is simply that contradicts everything that we know.
We don't know.
Let me explain. You don't even know where I'm going with this coin. That contradicts human and biology. If you were 90 foot tall, your knees would literally crush under your weight, right? Our bone structure, the way that our bones are physically laid out, are not designed to be 90 foot tall.
Are you implying that with increasing of height, with the increasing of height, we have the same joints?
What?
Are you implying that if we increase in height, for example, if we take that face
Yeah.
value, when we are increasing in height, we are using the same joints?
I am saying if we are descendants of Adam, we are his children and have his genetics.
Okay.
And if we were shrinking, he would have the same joints as us, and that
Exactly the
simply
same.
would.
Exactly
Yes,
the
of
same,
course.
the same size.
It would be the same structure, the same bone structure.
Okay.
It would be the same kind of deposits. We're just biologically, our structure is not designed to be 90 foot tall. Let me prove my point. What's the biggest land animal you can think of? What is the biggest land animal you can think of?
Giraffe.
A giraffe. How many legs does a giraffe have?
4.
What's the second biggest land animal you can think of? An elephant. How many legs does an elephant have?
4.
Can anyone think of a tall two-legged animal? An ostrich, maybe. How big is an ostrich? It's slightly bigger than a human being. The reason is this, right? When you start talking about factors of larger creature, the weight that is pushed down on those joints, right, precludes the idea of 90-foot creatures. Even if we go back to the dinosaurs, What's the biggest dinosaur you can think of?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Right. Brontosaurus. How many legs does a brontosaurus have?
Okay.
4. Think of another big dinosaur. Diplodocus. How many legs does a diplodocus have? 4.
Okay.
Right? Let's think of a 2-legged dinosaur. A velociraptor. How big is a velociraptor? About the size of a human being. How about an even bigger dinosaur? How about a Tyrannosaurus Rex? How big is a Tyrannosaurus Rex? It's about 2 humans on top of one another. In other words, it has never been true that you can have 90-foot bipedal creatures. Ever. And so this hadith is a lie.
Okay.
Muhammad was an ignorant man, and he was saying things that were false.
Just because you haven't seen them, because you can't go back to the beginning. Whatever you are saying, you're implying, you are not going back to the beginning. Okay?
Your argument's from silence.
Of course, your argument is true, because you are saying what we have now, going back, which you don't know exactly when it was done, because you're telling me like we say humans 10,000 years ago. We don't know yet that when we started. Every day we are like discovering like, oh, we go back more, we go back more. Okay, just because we didn't see that, okay, doesn't mean that doesn't exist. Okay, because you don't have an example now, that doesn't mean that it wasn't there.
Okay, so let me reply to your argument. Because you're arguing from silence, I'm not. Yeah, you are. You're saying that, well, there might be a fossil out there. There might be a fossil out there that backs up what Muhammad's saying. I'm not arguing from silence. I am arguing not just from the historical fossil record of human beings, but I'm arguing from the historical fossil records of every observed creature that has ever lived on Earth.
Okay.
So I am not arguing from silence. You're arguing from silence. I'm arguing from physics and biology.
Okay. Well, and when did that start, you mean? When did we start? Like the first in human?
Well, I reckon it was about 2 million years ago.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know.
And the point is,
the
right,
thing is that
no.
What you are telling me, yes, you are arguing about, I don't know the fossil you are talking about, how many, okay? And from that time, I'm implying it that it go back to the same exact time, that works exactly the same way, which we don't know.
Do you know how we do science?
Yeah, of course I know.
We look at patterns in nature,
Yeah.
right? We look at patterns in nature, and what we do is we figure out a law,
Yes.
right?
Okay. And that law is.
And then we establish what the laws of nature are.
We establish our
Now,
understanding. Yeah.
when we look at all creatures that we can observe in the fossil record, all the big ones have 4 legs on land. The biggest creature that has ever lived, according to the fossil record, isn't a dinosaur. It's the blue whale. It's the biggest creature that has ever lived in history, right? From what we can see from history. In other words, big creatures like trees, because I reckon that tree's about 90 foot tall, they don't have bipedal biology. Bipedal biology precludes the possibility of being 90 foot tall. So this idea that human beings were ever 90 foot tall is not backed up by biology, it's not backed up by physics, and the bit about human beings getting shorter from that time isn't backed up by all the records that we have of the human fossil record, which shows that human beings are getting taller. I've got to leave you with this thought. Is it possible, rather than just defending what is evidently ridiculous, is it possible that either the hadiths can't be trusted and they put false words in Muhammad's mouth, or Muhammad wasn't a prophet, he didn't hear from God, and he spoke in error?
No, I need to check the scientific facts, because I
Please
don't know,
do.
to be honest.
Right, I mean, not that it is the equivalent of a scientific paper, but I went on Grok, right?
Okay.
You know, search engine,
Okay.
right? Accesses the internet, searches things. I know it's not perfect,
Yeah.
but it's a help. And when it talks about this, it says this, because I typed in the question, From the fossil record, have human beings been growing taller or shorter over time? It says, this is Grok, over the deep evolutionary time of millions of years, early human ancestors generally became taller as the genus Homo emerged. But within Homo sapiens, average height has fluctuated, with a notable decline after the shift to agriculture around 10,000 years ago, followed by a recent increase in the last few centuries due to better nutrition and health.
I will check them.
Right?
What was that? Which one?
It's just from Grok.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
I need to check that fact, because I don't know them, to be honest. That's why I'm not arguing with the biology itself, because I don't know these facts.
Well, but it's not just biology, it's physics.
Yeah.
It's not just biology, it's physics. Our bones, our bone structure, bipedal, considering that in your lower foot you have very small bones, like your Achilles bone, right? And the other small bones that protrude into your foot, they could not sustain the weight that would be placed on them if you were 90 feet tall. And that is even if you increase your feet. Your bones would collapse under their own weight. Anyway.
I will need to check that, because I don't know, to be honest, these facts.
Do you just compare it to all the big creatures you can find? Right? The biggest bipedal creatures were not 90 feet tall.
But I can't compare it to myself without knowing.
We have huge
Yeah.
creatures on Earth.
Yeah, I know.
Right? And we have huge creatures in the fossil record. Right? A Diplodocus wasn't 90 foot tall. A Brontosaurus was not 90 feet tall. A Brachiosaurus was not 90 feet tall. The biggest creature that ever lived is in the oceans. Trees can reach 90 foot tall. Whales can reach 90 foot tall. But whales reach 90 foot tall. Well, I don't think they're 90 foot. But whales can reach massive lengths. I think it's about 50 foot or about 60 foot. But they can reach massive lengths because their weight is not contained. It's contained within the ocean. Right? Gravity would just crush you if you were 90 foot tall.
Yeah, well,
You'd be handicapped.
I told you, I cannot argue that without knowing the facts, to be honest.
Have you got a Bible, bro?
Huh?
Have you got a Bible?
Yeah,
Right, I'd like to give you a gift. Yeah? So, here we go. Let me just find one for you. I think you've been a good sport and I've enjoyed our conversation.
Thank you.
So this is for you.
Thank you.
God bless.
Thank you.
Take care. Until our next time.